Okay, so ready to dive into some predictions about the future.
Always. Love a good what if scenario.
Right,
Yikes.
exactly. Today we're looking at this article called "Predictions for 2025."
Yeah.
It's by let me see, yeah, by a Norwegian content creator. Pretty interesting stuff, and we'll see how it holds up.
Oh,
Right,
absolutely. I mean, 2025, that's right around the corner.
right. So this article covers everything: politics, technology, even a pandemic. And it's not just like random guesses. It's trying to paint a picture of how all these things connect.
Yeah, the ripple effects, right. One thing leads to another, that kind of thing.
Exactly, exactly. So let's jump into it. First up, the war in Ukraine.
Ooh,
Yeah, big topic, obviously. The author predicts it will end in 2025.
and completely.
So that's what they say, yeah.
Yeah.
With a big decrease in violence before that, leading up to it.
Yeah.
And they're pretty adamant that, this whole thing, it never should have happened in the first place.
Right, right, of course. But how does that happen? How do you go from, well, where we are now to peace?
That's the big question, isn't it? The article, it doesn't give a ton of specifics, but it does hint at a few things.
Like what?
Well, they talk about, many increased economic pressure on everyone involved could push them towards negotiations.
That makes sense. Hit them where it hurts, right?
Yeah, exactly. Or maybe, a change in leadership on either side. Someone comes in with a different approach, more open to diplomacy.
Oh, interesting. A less hardline stance.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And they also mentioned the role of international organizations, helping to facilitate those breakthroughs. What do you think?
I mean, those are all definitely possibilities, right? It's hard to say which is the most likely or if it's, a combination of things.
Yeah, for sure. But even if the war does end, I mean, the impact, the geopolitical landscape, that's going to be felt for years, right?
Oh, absolutely. Years and years.
All right, ready for the next one?
Hit me.
This one's a bit of a bombshell. They predict Donald Trump returning to the White House in 2025,
Wow. That would definitely shake things up,
to say the least. And with that, they see a big shift towards, America first isolationism.
which could have huge implications globally.
Huge alliances, trade, global stability, everything. I mean, it's a lot to unpack, and obviously, a lot of people have strong feelings about Trump and his policies.
For sure. But just from a global perspective, that kind of shift in US policy, it would be a major turning point.
Absolutely. Okay, let's move on to something a little different. You ready for this? Bird flu pandemic.
Oh, yeah, that's not what anyone wants to hear after the last few years.
Right. But the author predicts that in 2025, we could see a bird flu pandemic declaration.
And knowing what we know now about pandemics, about how quickly things can spread, how societies react or don't react, it's a little scary, isn't it?
It is. Makes you wonder if we've learned anything, if we'd be more prepared or if we've fallen into the same traps.
Right. The misinformation, the division, the fear. It's a sobering thought for sure.
Absolutely. Okay, on to something a bit more uh, futuristic.
Okay, lay it on me.
Quantum computing and AI. The author says we're going to see massive advancements in both, and that they'll start to merge in a way that, well, that could lead to capabilities beyond what we can even comprehend right now.
Oh, wow. So we're talking like singularity level stuff?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
They even say that AI will become more than just a tool. It'll be something else entirely.
That's both fascinating and a little terrifying, isn't it?
Right. I mean, quantum computing, that's already pretty mind-blowing. It uses quantum mechanics to solve problems that regular computers just can't handle. So imagine that combined with advanced AI.
Yeah, it could revolutionize, well, everything. Medicine, material science, communication, who knows what else.
Exactly. But as the author points out, there are big ethical questions here. I mean, what happens when we create something that we don't fully understand that might even be smarter than us?
It's a whole new world and we're kind of stepping into it blindly.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
So we've got war, we've got politics, we've got pandemics, we've got AI taking over the world.
This is like a pretty intense 2025.
Right. But in the midst of all that, the author, they bring up something else. Something that's always been there and always will be.
What's that?
Nature.
Ah, yeah. Back to basics.
Exactly. They talk about how no matter what crazy stuff we humans come up with, no matter what chaos we create, nature just keeps going. It endures.
It's a good point. It's easy to lose sight of that, when you're caught up in the day-to-day. But nature, it's bigger than all of us.
It really is.
Hmm.
So there you have it, a glimpse into 2025, according to this Norwegian content creator. war ending, Trump returning, a bird flu pandemic, AI going rogue, and through it all, nature just doing its thing. What do you think? What stuck with you?
It's a lot to process, that's for sure. I think
Yeah.
for me, the pandemic prediction, that's the one that really hits home. It makes you think, are we ready for that? What did we learn from COVID? And will it be enough?
Big questions. And speaking of getting back to nature, the author at the end of the article, they give a little shout out to bushcraft. Those survival skills, learning to live off the land. Maybe that's not such a bad idea, eh? With all this uncertainty coming our way, it might be good to know how to fend for ourselves a little bit.
Yeah, there's something to be said for self-reliance, for sure, for connecting with nature, with something bigger than ourselves.
Absolutely. Well, that's about all the time we have for this deep dive. Thanks for joining us, and let us know what you think. What predictions stood out to you? What are you most curious about? Or maybe even worried about?
Yeah, hit us up in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
All right, until next time, stay curious.
And stay safe.